We are never married, but I born.
The man when you born from, go where in there?
The man is late. He died for water. When we dey try to cross, our boat capsized, so 48 people die. He dey among the people where he died for the water. We dey cross from Libya to Italy. The machine come off for inside. Na why him job boy, na him drive the boat. But before they drive the boat, the Nigeria boy come tell the man say the Zodiac not good. Say they pass am. So na that same spot na him give us problem. As that first place collapse, the other place come collapse. The thing come go down, our engine come off. How I take survive? You know say na the side where engine dey na him don collapse. So me dey front. Na front women dey, but men dey back or they will sit down round the balloon. As that thing happened, I just dey pray.
Wetin be una plans as soon they go Italy?
We dey go for better life because Nigeria no dey sweet like that.
Unknown to Deborah Imagbehian, the journey to Italy through Libya was not as easy and as rosy as it was being portrayed. The 31-year-old lady lost her husband on the Mediterranean Sea when they were both attempting to cross to Europe from the North African country of Libya. In this fresh episode of my migration story series on Legit TV, Deborah explains how she had to cope with the loss of a loved one and how she has reintegrated fully into the society since she returned from the trip. My name is Damla Rokola and you're watching Legit TV.
Deborah, how work? What are you doing?
Work is fine. As you can see, na here I dey learn. I don learn finish. I've been here for like a year now.
Why you going to learn hairdressing? You not go school, maybe?
I go school, but you know our country now, work not done. Even if you dey work, na small money, then they pay. The money not dey reach anything for private work. So with this hair, I know say yes, I can. It's better than working. With this, my handwork, yes.
I'm going to look for jobs.
The handwork is better.
Which school? Where you study?
Auchi.
Which course you study?
Business administration.
Finish it.
No, I finished ND.
Which year?
That was in 2012.
2012. So, what did they do before you can start to do this business? So?
Before I start to do this work, I dey work with one, you know, this company where they do promo, like adverts for Ariel, and all this Nutri-Milk, yogurt. Yes, we dey take the products to market for Lagos. Yes, we'll go. Then I dey stay for Ogba. We can go anywhere. Our office is Surulere. We get buses, so we take the waka.
You don't marry, Deborah?
We are never married, but I born.
The man when you born from, go where in there?
The man is late.
What happened?
He died for water.
Water how?
When we dey try to cross, our boats get problem. Boats capsized, so 48 people die. He dey among the people where he died for the water.
Where they cross from? Where they cross go?
We dey cross from Libya to Italy. So we never even go far, like maybe 1 hour, where the boats get problem for road. The machine come off for inside. So before then, some people don already dey jump. Yes, because they wear life jacket, so they feel say the life jacket fit sustain them. So the life jacket no fit sustain them.
Which year be this way you talk?
This one happened 2018. 2017 to 2018. That happened. Yes. It was June.
Now, come on Nigeria together, we now meet for Libya. We now want to take
Nigeria together.
So two of now suffer through deserts together.
Yes, we suffer together.
What happened for the desert?
The desert. Well, the desert is stressful, though, but not too stressful. From here to Libya, maybe 1 week.
Now I understand.
Yes. But not the water, not the problem.
How many weeks or months you spend for Libya before when I won't cross? So?
The first time, we first go on connection. We pay money. We spend 3 months for the man house. Before they come carry us go camp, we spend 1 month for the camp. After the camp, the day where they want to push us, then they come to say they thief the money. Wrong. So that money, we lose that money like that. So after we lose that money, we can't go house, can't go work again. As we work, finish. After like 8 months, the next following year, we can't go camp again. Around February. So they come they camp for like 6 months. Come they camp for like 6 months. They hope, say one day they will push us. They'll say they'll push today, they'll say they'll push tomorrow, they'll say where they're not clear, they'll say where they're clear. So finally, the day when they want first push us, the guy where want ride the boat, Gambia guy, the guy, he can't they fear, he not feel ride down. So they call commuters that they come back to camp. After 3 days, they come say they want to push us again. They now cut and say, "Mo no go, mo just go back, go they work as before." Say that first experience of that day. But he say, "No man, no worry." Insist, say me we go. Now I say okay, so we can't really go. As we go, now that ugly incidents happen. Now Nigerian boy now drive the boat.
So the Gambian guy again.
No, not the Gambia guy. Now one job boy. Now he drive the boat. But before they drive the boat, the Nigerian boy come tell the man say the Zodiac not good. Say they pass am. Say why they go pass am. Say road far. And the man say enough far. Say may we go. Say we may manage am. So now that same spot now give us problem for road as we go. Now that place now first burst. Now bash by bash that they blow am. Like tank, fuel tank. No say that they block am.
Yeah.
Yes. Bash by bash. Now that first place first collapse. As that first place collapse, the other place can collapse. The thing can go down. Our engine can off. So now so.
Before you and your guy, so to say, have been they go Italy before.
Yes.
Waiting be una plans as soon they go Italy.
But they go for better life. For better life, not just one go there, work, help our families and the rest. Cause Nigeria no dey sweet like that.
Well, how you going to survive inside that boat?
How I take survive? You know, say I tell you say that boat now batch by batch. Not be all don't collapse. Yes. So now the side where engine dey na don't collapse. So me dey front. Now front women dey, but men dey back or they'll sit down round the balloon. You understand? So me no know wetin dey happen. I don't know where in dey again. I don't know wetin dey happen. As that thing happened, I just dey pray. I dey pray. Our side never burst. Our side never burst, so I can't just dey pray. Dey there. Now later, now we can't even know say some people die. The next day they can't go dey comot their body from inside water. So anybody where you not see that night or the next day morning, you will not say you don't die.
So each year you can't return to Nigeria?
I returned 2019.
So 2019 don't they learn this hairdressing?
No.
Where they work for that place for Lagos?
No, now before I travel, I work that one.
Okay, so when you come back 2019, what do you first they do?
As I come back 2019, I just relax, try to get myself first, try to get used to everything around me. So the next year, 2020, COVID-19 come start. So after COVID-19, no movements, everybody dey house. That year will not do anything now.
Why can't they survive?
Well, it's not easy, just maybe sometimes family and then family and friends. I do some small work for people.
So since you started this job now, what's your aim with the hairdressing business? What will be your aim?
My aim now is to get my own shop. I don dey here now almost a year. I just start. When I start, I not pay anything to the woman. I just explain my situation to her. She too, she don't get the same experience before. She don't travel before. So as I explain to her, she know where I dey come from. So she say, okay, make I dey learn first. I say, okay. And she dey teach me makeup too. She dey teach me decoration too and cake. She say the day where hair no will come.
Cake will come.
Cake will come.
The day where cake will come.
Decoration will come, makeup will come. So my own aim now is to have my own shop and so that I can be financially stable and balanced. May I not think of traveling again.
They say shower work Nigerians they do for
Not
that.
be only a shower work dey there. Now if you like to do a shower work.
Can I easy pass?
If you like the easy one, fine. But me, I not like the easy one. I can use my hands to work. Notice I tell you before, say the first time they thief our money for crossing, we can't go back go work. Me, I work for house. I work for house. I work for where they do cake. Too. Work dey there. Cleaning work dey there. But sometimes guests don't like to work. They like to stay prostitution house or stay with man or go from one man to another. You know, say women not too plenty for there. Yes. So our black women not too plenty. So guys they like I want friend you, I want friend you. They figure like 2-3 boyfriend for there. Weekend they'll go to some place or today they go here, tomorrow they go here. They get their money. But the consequences we say sickness their side. I made it say.
But as you did now, you still want to return school. I mean, you don't forget school. We don't focus on this.
I don't want to return school again. I just want to open my business. Because even if I say I go school, I finish, I don't get money to go buy work. Because Nigeria now, to get work na problem. I don't get maybe 500, 700, 1 million to go buy office work, pensionable work. I not get so.
You go buy they buy work.
That's why I hear say that they buy work, that they lobby to get jobs, government jobs. So
You go pay like 500, 700, 1
Yes.
million to take a job.
and sometimes they can sideline you too. So I don't have that money. I prefer this my work when I dey learn. Before I start to learn this work, I don't already think make I go back to school or make I learn work. But I say learning the work will be best for me because I dey see women when they do government work, they still get job, they still get hand work. Some get where they sell clothes, wrapper for inside market. Some get shop, some get where they sell wholesale drinks and the rest. So I think I prefer this handwork. It's better for me.